All right. John, Jack, McCaig here, JesusChristTrust.net. And welcome everyone who comes around to see this Sundays at noon, every Sunday at noon. Take an hour to talk about God, the truth, mostly what's hidden from us, uh, and speak about that because my claims, which the truth backs up, is I'm a prophet. I hear God. I work for God directly, a saint, Christ consciousness, that kind of stuff. Uh, we're just words to explain, oh, hey, we're in this game. I won it. Here's how I did it. In case you want any information, I could give you some, you know? All right, Valeria. God bless you. And everyone else here. So, going over a few things this week. Please bring up, like Valeria did, type in a chat anything on your mind, whatever's going on. I'm happy to get into it. Thank you, Valeria. Uh, so, so let's get into a few topics here, okay? Um, I'd like to. Oh, let's see where to start here. Had an interesting week. I had one. It's always happy day, Alan. Okay, first, right. This episode of Jesus Christ Trust is brought to you by this week your donations, because this thing only runs on your donations. If I help, and I get donations, and thank you for them. Jamie, and so shout out to Jamie this week. Oh, Mary's around. All right. True Lady in the House, a bunch of them. Excellent. Mary, welcome. And Pam, ah, all the big hearted, smart ladies are here. That's fantastic. Uh, and I'm happy to have you. Anything that's on your mind or you want to bring up, please feel free to type it in and I'll get into it. Anyway, thanks for the donations this week to Pamela, and the Poe family supporting this show, my work, and so on. Jamie, this week, thank you for the donation, Jamie. I really appreciate it. Um, so, what to talk about here? It's interesting. I got a few different pieces. One, I'll start with this. I decided to get rid of. Been living in a mobile home park, 55 and up community for 8 years plus now. So when I got 55, I was like, okay, no longer homeless. Bought this place that needed everything. It still needs things. Got a hurricane and everything. It's like, but bought it for $2,500 with the loss of money that I have from, uh, you know, messing up my credit cards. And getting to this area, and I needed a short-term rental and blah 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 blah. I have some money left over to fix it up enough to be in it, pay the rent for a minute, and get to work, which I've been doing ever since I've been there. But it's just really since I hurricane it has needed so much, and it's got wood in it. It's got a lot of mold and termites are flying around, which is a good in Florida. So it's just not quite big enough or healthy enough for two people. So we're just gonna. It's appreciated, and so anyway, it's a good deal. It's like it was literally the probably the cheapest way to live somewhere uh, that was possible. Sorry, uh, at the time, and buy something in Sarasota County. Period. Maybe almost anywhere in the U.S. But it worked out, and I was happy to have it. I'm happy to have had a home instead of a car, not have a home of any kind or whatever. So, and it's always been in a trust with God. So it's God's place. And it was built in this early 70s, like 73, 74, whatever. So it come from the beginning. And I don't think it was meant to quite go the distance. It would have go the distance, but, Anyway, it's time to let it move on to someone else that needs a place, which I understand. People need affordable places. It's probably going to be the most affordable place in Sarasota County. Uh, so, excuse me, I'm just doing a rental here, and and it's kind of nice doing a rental. First of all, no deeds, right? No worried about no deeds, no titles, no deeds, no nothing. Don't take any titles, don't take any deeds, right? Uh-huh. Take no titles, don't have, no deeds, nothing. And so anyway, it's kind of nice to not have to worry about fixing anything or anything. Like where this is upstairs and there's a downstairs. I mean, we're in like this apartment condominium kind of place, two bedroom, two bath thing. That's a part of a building. That's a community center for a community. Like a condo community or something like that with a pool and everything. Anyway, the pool's here. It's like the pool house. Okay. Uh, so it's a good rental to sort out what we're gonna do next, and that's all right, Jay. Good to have you. I know I'm probably taking too many words to say this, but I'm just sort of filling you in so that you're filled in. And that is after looking at different pieces of real estate and rental things and so on that are out there, my next thing that I'm gonna examine uh with a realtor to qualify me, my person, my trust, what have you, I don't know. To figure out if it's possible in some way that you know I, Jesus Christ Trust, whatever, an entity of some type could make a purchase of a church with a parsonage. In other words, with some housing there somewhere, somewhere in Florida, because I can't be in a cold climate. I just get worse and worse at that as time goes on. As my wife points out, she sent me a photo today. I got a text. Feels like 102, and I'm like, I have the windows up in my room. Like, she's like, "What is wrong with you?" I'm like, "What is wrong with you?" No, no. So anyway, the heat doesn't bother me as much as some others, but it does. I mean, I don't like it sitting in the sun and super hot. I don't like that, but I can't be in a cold climate and function very well, and so I just accept that. And it's like, okay, have less things and less space, and be closer to the ocean, uh, and wear sport. So it's like, okay, fine. Uh, but that's kind of what I'm gonna look for is they're really expensive churches with a place to live on the property are super rare and super expensive. So, but God runs everything, and so it's kind of a good way for my wife and I to live, like a house separate from my work. Uh, and so just a room that's you know, also my bedroom, and you know, just get it out there into the public and be able to help people face to face with some of this work is, I think, worth exploring. So that's what I'm going to look into because, the dynamics of being able to video me with other people and those interactions will be able to explain the information I've been able to explain. And then you get to experience at home on your own if something happens. But if there's a video rolling like in, church, uh, inside that church building, uh, then I think it would be something that would enlighten a lot of people to not just be speaking, but to see it on video. So I think that would be helpful, a helpful piece of my work. If it works out, I don't know. I'm just going to examine it. I'm going to explore it and see what you know, we have a very nice realtor friend in the area, a couple of them actually, but this guy is very knowledgeable and uh, lived here a while and very professional, very easygoing, and would be happy to take a look for this. I think so. That's what I'm going to do is look for that type of a situation. Uh, so I just think a lot could grow out of it. First of all, you could have things there that can make it uh, start to pay. Let's say it needs a mortgage or whatever, start to pay for it itself. Like you can do things in a church you can't do um, with other, brick and mortar businesses. Yeah, that is like you could have an auction. You know what I mean? You could have an auction where people donate stuff, and then you have an interesting auction with stuff, or people just can put their own things in an auction and charge a fee. So you could do something that would help the finances of the situation, but also make it so you do the spiritual work in a situation too. Because I mean, it's crazy. How these people afford churches? I don't get it. I really don't. Uh, but I'm going to look into it because there are a lot of empty church buildings I've noticed everywhere. So I don't know if someone wants to sell one affordably or not or whatever. Maybe I should put an ad on Craigslist or something. Anyway, I'm just going to start to examine that possibility because I think it would help a lot of people. And having a building in a certain area means I'm not going to move or be somewhere else or something like that. And if someone is, flexible in their ability to be somewhere, uh, they could come to church sometime, If it's someone living in a vehicle or something, you could be in Florida, why not? And you could come to church, that kind of stuff. Pauletta made it. All right. The Twin Towers of Power. The twins are here. Uh, the twin giant heart ladies. All right. Good to have you, Pauletta. Glad you made it. Super grandma. Uh, always watch it out. JB, maybe the technology will work on this in empty buildings by code. Maybe. But maybe. I've thought about that, but I've been asked not to do this by my guru, basically, not saying there's someone above me, but there is a spiritual hierarchy. And, um, you know, this whole thing about hidden information and hidden knowledge is really, uh, it's a difficult thing to organize intellectually and also then into how to do things day to day. But it's kind of the last way that exists to make a saint. Because I actually found out everything else, didn't I? Pretty much. And so this is a way that someone can come through and someone can, win the game besides myself. So I don't want to close the door on that possibility that someone could do that and you know, get God realization, Christ consciousness, all that. I know that the one who goes all the way in public and tries will win. And I'm not supposed to do it. So, how long have I been doing this? And then if I just start the final war, by trying to take a church and so on, like no one else will make it to God. Basically, I'll end that possibility for everyone because no, there's going to be nothing left that's an extreme miracle for God to do. Nobody's going to be able to do anything useful for anyone. You know, I will have exposed literally every single thing, and so no, there's no trail to break. I'll just hit the firmament. I'll hit the dome. Boink. See, there it is, and that'll end everything for everyone except for myself. I'll make it to God and then no one else will. because no one will have earned it. You see what I'm saying? I'm the only one like out there earning it and doing the things that no one has ever done, and so someone else has to do that. And so I don't advise that anyone does that, like Beer Mama, right? This is what God realization is, but you don't want it. Like that's what he was saying. That's what his script is, and that's the same for you. I can tell people, hey, you want to go to God, you want to get God realization, you want to meet God, you want to see God face to face. You think so? Uh-huh. Here's a method. Ain't nobody done it. So um, I'd hate to close the door on the last window to heaven. I'd hate to close the last window to heaven and make it so everyone's trapped in a stone. That's what I do if I do that. That's just the reality of my situation. I was like, I can see that that's, the thing that needs doing, like the final key that turns the lock. And it's like, oh, I will do it if no one has done it on a certain day, you know, but not too early. I want to leave the possibility open for a giant turf war out there in God's name and all that stuff. Like I don't mind lighting the fuse. Let's see if anybody wants to, you know, make the fuse end, and the devil loses a kingdom, and you know, it's like the final show is on at Disney World. It's like boop boop boop, oompa loompa, boompa boompa, you know. Uh, but so that's I agree with you, Jamie. I agree with you, Jamie. I agree with you, Jamie, on that one. That could, oh, hey, this might be an opportunity to do that. I agree with you there, and it is, um, but that's a problem on my end. You see, uh, the closing the door and everyone. I'm like, look here, uh, it's not easy being in my situation. I'm like, like it's kind of like what I did 15. Here, 15 lawsuits, battle of the death, the devil versus God on Facebook, right? Sarasota County. Let's see if they kill me. And they tried to, and didn't. I walk out of there free, and all the paperwork signed, and we're done. We signed a treaty, and it's over, and I'm good to go, and you can't shame me. So, uh, you know, I proved everyone's free, and everyone is. That's side of this trust. I mean, honestly, you know, I should be running Earth after I done that. You see what I'm saying? Honestly, that's why scripts are fake. You know what I'm saying? Like I did that uh, in public and proved it myself. So honestly, who could pass that up? And I could name, I don't know how I probably couldn't even name everything else I ever done. You know what I'm saying? All the miracles I performed and stuff. But that one was really a big one. Because that was face to face and available for everyone in the public and free to go to, and on a certain date, a certain time, known place, known location, in public. Here's your paperwork, every single detail on public record, everything, and in public. You know what I'm saying? So, uh, and I did so many of the things that I did like that. That to do the final one, I'd have to do it like that, put it in public. Here we go. Da, 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 da. And so everyone else is like, I'd create more disturbance in my family, more difficulties for everyone around me. Think of what I've already done for them. I had done to them and so on because of that. So to ask me to do the final thing, uh, leaves you all out in the cold. Every single other human that is taking a breath right now, no one goes. No one goes. Because no one's willing to do anything of any real value. You know what I'm saying? So you'd have to stay. So I don't want to be like that. I'm not like that. But you're right, Jamie. You nail on the head, boom, you hit the nail right on the head. You got that right. I agree with you 100%. Yes. Jamie, I was not expecting 8, 9 lawyers, notaries, not to even sign a simple land transfer form because it was going to Jesus Christ. Their reactions are proof that this is something big. No, and that's the thing. And everyone, but that's their only role, right? Their role in a script as a cast member, their role in society is to let you know that without letting you know that, Jamie. Yeah, that is, you know, how you learn it. Like you can hear me speak, and then that's basically like Mayor Mama says, intellectual information, intellectual knowledge, which is useless. You got to go do it. And then you go, oh, is that right? And then you got to go do it. You see what I'm saying? And then once you do it, you're like, what? I was totally not expecting that. You know what I mean? Like, I was listening to him and what he said was right, but I wasn't expecting this part, like all the, lawyers and notaries to freak out when you walk in the door and everything. So, that no, I agree. Like that's how you actually turn like, oh, I know something. It's wisdom. Wisdom would be, oh, I did something a number of times actually, and I'm totally 100% know for a fact. So, and that's what their job is to let us know the ones, oh, I'm siding with God and I'm going to live my life that way the best as possible. Their job is to let us know we actually did that. And they recognize it too. 100% they recognize it. You see, and actually, if that's true, you're like, wait a second. So that's all that life's about, because that's all life's about. Because what this whole system is set up to just know if somebody signs over and everything, like, and instantly the whole earth knows you done it. Like that's impossible. Of course, it's impossible. It's a miracle, but that's a system that we're under. So yeah. Uh, Yeah, you went the three witness route when they refuse to sign. I mean, it's just I've had notaries like, sure, we no, well, we don't do that here anymore. The bank, we don't do notaries any, we don't notarize documents. Then they're like, wait, we don't notarize trust anymore. It's not trust. It's well, we don't do we don't notarize anything anymore at the bank. We don't do that. It's like what? And I had this Jamie. This is a funny one. I had this one client years ago, a few number of years ago, with doing the trust. And I remember it was Bank of America. They had gone into and opened up a trust. I didn't have any problems there. Like, go to Bank of America, you know? And they went and branch to branch is different. And so they went into this branch and, uh, you know, they said they had a reaction when they put it like, I want to open a trust. And they saw the trust. They're like, they just sort of had a flip out, and they're like, and they went there. Oh, hey, they're already at the bank. They were already a client, right? And so they're like, oh, I want to open a trust account too. And so it's like go in there with the paperwork, they'll notarize it, and then open the bank account. They're like, we can't notarize this. Basically, like they didn't know what and they want to let. No, 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 no. And then she's like, "Let me check with the notary, Let me check to go see if I can notarize this." She didn't come up with like she just had a reaction, and didn't say anything. Let me go check with the notary. And she goes and comes back and says, "Oh, can't notarize this now." And she's like, "Why not?" And so, oh, our notary just broke their arm. Who was like, your notary, you mean you have a notary, someone who you work with in house, right? And since I walked in the door to sit down with you, they broke their arm and they're the notary? And they're like, yes. It's like, what? That's all you could come up with? Like, see, some of the stories they tell us are actually to let us know, first of all, they have no capacity for what's like ad lib? You know what I mean? They can follow a script, but they suck at ad lib. You know what I'm saying? Like they can't just make it up on the spot. Like no, they can't. That's hard for them. Uh, they're just sitting there following a script. They have limited intelligence and limited ability. They're sort of like AI, they're like you're talking to a demon. And so, you know, eventually you interact with them enough, and you're like, what is going on? Are you human? Is there anybody in there? Like with you and the lawyers and the notaries, it's like, you're not human, are you? Like, they just kind of show themselves in there. Once you start doing things that are out on the edge of their abilities, that they start to have issues with their abilities to look human and so on. Like a good parasite uh, isn't what its host is, so you can tell the differences. Some really easy, like if it's a mosquito, ah, but if it's one of these creatures, it's hard because we can't see certain things. Am I right? Yeah. No. Thanks for sharing that, JB. Thank you for sharing that. Because we can't see certain things, and so when Mir Baba talks about Maya, he doesn't talk about like only talk about the devil a little bit. Talks about Maya, the principle of ignorance. Well, what does the Bible say? We fight against principalities and something, right? So principles, principalities. You see what I'm saying? So uh, there's some things we can't physically see, uh, and also Mir Mama calls like you know uh, Maya God's shadow. So shadow doesn't have any form, but you can see it. Uh, it exists, but it doesn't have any form, and it's something you can visually kind of see. You see, so it's a good reference to call like the devil or Maya the principle of ignorance. Not knowing. Uh, you kind of That's our enemy, our adversary. Here is lack of knowledge, and so information, knowledge, and wisdom. Having that knowledge through experience, that is, what is meant by, uh, you shall know the truth and the truth shall set you free, right? You have the information now. The hidden information now, less is hidden. You're getting a lot more traction out there, whoever has the knowledge. And so your life changes. You begin to see the unseen world. What you couldn't see before, you totally see now. You see? Yeah, no, like the glasses from They Live. That's what I'm talking about, Jay. Exactly. And so, and that's what Jamie is talking about and what she's writing. You see, doing this work exposes them, and you come to the edge of their abilities to hide themselves, and they just why? But because they're mind readers. First of all, that's an invisible activity. You see, the things that they do and have power, they have abilities that we don't have, or we have abilities too, but they have different limits and abilities within that. You see, to say, what's an example? Uh, well, first of all, a demon is a jinn, whatever you want to call them, angels, whatever, right? You can't see them, and they can see us. That's the you know vision, which is partially through eyes, but it's really uh, abilities given by God. Am I right? A vision is abilities given by God. Like we're created, and so whatever abilities you have, God give them to you. And so the when you're looking through your eyes at the world, oh hey, I see these things. Okay, God gave you that ability. What's another ability to see things? Where you close your eyes and you're like, oh, let me remember something, right? What was I doing yesterday? When I took that walk, I walked down there, what did I see? Right? And vision come into your mind, Somebody asks you a question. Hey, what do you remember where the hammer is from yesterday? You're like, hold on, let me think. Right? And you get a vision. What's another vision you have? where you're like dreaming, your eyes are closed, but you still can see images. Uh, so we have, from the unseen realm, the ether or whatever, they just can see different things. They have different, like we could see, they could just see more than we could see. You see what I'm saying? Like it's not like they have an ability. We don't have sight. You know, we can see, they can see. Okay, they just can see us, but we can't see them. Okay, but we have sight. We have different kinds of sight. Uh, okay, and also, what else? What we can hear, right? What we can hear comes in sort of more than just hearing from ears. It's also, if you're given information, like thoughts is sort of like hearing in a way. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, you told me something. Now based on those words, I formed a thought in my mind. That your words formed a thought in my mind. But thoughts can be said directly, right? Or they can happen from visual stimuli, or from smelling something, or from tasting something. Thoughts can be created that way. That's how thoughts occur, from stimuli, and also from no stimuli, like something puts them in there. You see? So we have all this stimuli happening, and that creates uh, a reaction, right? A thought. Okay. So we have thoughts. That's my point. Thoughts are coming to us. But then we have these other thoughts that are just coming, that seem to be slightly, that aren't directly, yeah, that aren't directly connected to what we're, our senses. Sorry, that we're physically seeing something or not seeing something. You see. We could be, in other words, we could receive thoughts that are not based on only stimuli that we're having at that moment. You see to say we could have another thought, like from another something. And it's like, where did this come from? And so we always show those angels and devil on our shoulder. And so, meaning like the angel Gabriel, that's a messenger. So we could get that message, or we could get this other message of thoughts, right, from the devil, from God's shadow. We're in duality, so we could get both messages. And then uh, the law of dharma exists, right? uh, Do unto others, the golden rule: love God, right, and then love your brothers and sisters. Okay, that exists, and we're sent these thought. We receive it through stimuli, or we just receive thoughts, and then the law of dharma exists. Like Mir Baba said, the new life will go on no matter if anyone's here to live it. You see, if everyone was to kill each other, it's still going to be 64 years long, and then it'll restart. So the new life will go on and on and on forever if no one's here to live. This 64-year rule, it's not going to change. Nothing's going to change. Nothing ever will change. God has made a fair system to weed out, right, the weeds from the wheat, the wheat from the chaff. God has made a system and decided it's fair, and it is, and that's that's the way it is. So they have abilities we don't have, and so we have to look into them and see what's causing certain things, what abilities they have, and what do we not have, and then how do we get sort of their nature, the demon jinn nature, is to have power over us. How do from being the invisible man, from being not there, or being is somebody and they look like a human, but they're not really human. They're possessed by this thing. So, how can we differentiate between them and deal with this situation? Like, you don't have x-ray glasses, the who's who, but you can tell by their nature, you see. And the better you get at it as seeing that it's real, then the better you get at how to interact with this situation that we find ourselves in. Jamie, Ephesians 6:6 3, right? 3:6. We wrestle against principalities, powers, worldly governors, the princes of darkness of this world, spiritual wickedness, which are in high places. Exactly. Uh, we have to beat this world. This is a game where we beat the wicked. Because they just haven't. Our creator, God, who created everything, including this game, created them, created us, and everything. They're, like that tattoo, born to lose. They're here at Disney World, like we were here at Disney World, performing that, right? Evolution is going through the different forms in your consciousness, your heart, your ability to do right and wrong, to follow God's orders, uh, gets better over time, and God can trust you and then bring you home. Okay, hey, that good job. Come on back, and somebody else get in there. That's just this thing won't end. It's not going to end. But once you're not in the ball, you know, we're in a time ball, right? Or in a time ball. Once your consciousness leaves here, uh, you realize that God is outside of time. And so this thing already happened. How can I be sitting here saying that this has already happened when it's happening right now? You see, because there are two different situations, right? There's non duality and duality. We're in this game called duality, this an illusion. This illusion. We're playing this game at the fair, at the carnival, right? At the carne. We're at a carnival. We're in a body, carne, right? And so you're gonna play this game, and that's what we're doing, you see? Do they have to obey eventually? Being a follower of Jesus Christ, eventually let the land transfer or the process you're trying to do or anything else? No, they don't have to. And that's where Mama handled it this way. He says two things. What happened had to have happened. Uh, And he also says, don't worry, be happy, and do your best, and I will take care of the rest. But he also says, leave else to me, not to you. You don't know anything. I'm God. And so I'm one with God, right? Uh, coming up, but you don't. You see? So I'm trying to help you out. And if you just see, and that's why your prayers, this is a really solid way to pray. Not like, "Hey, God, I need $1,000 today to pay rent, mortgage, car payment, but I need $1,000 today because I got this problem and needs $1,000." Is a better way to pray is, "God, there's this problem that $1,000 has to be paid for this thing." You know what I mean? And this is what it's due. So that's all you. Uh, how God's going to work that out could be in any way, shape, or form. You see? So you know, for them to fight against us and to not give up easily and to almost sort of never let you win, and it means what? Means what? Rules and laws are fake. You see, do they let me win in court? No, 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 and they won't because what are you doing it here? You have sided with Jesus Christ. Have I? Yes, I have. So what are you doing in here? Why are you in the courtroom? You see the same, why are you down here? What's up with you? You see, we don't do that. Uh, it's kind of the way they think of it. Like they don't like us much and that we figured out everything and meaning like nothing's hidden anymore. They have power over us by everything's hidden, you see? And so there's one thought I want to get into on this, Jamie, and what is how could anyone not work for God? You see, they do work for God. Like they're all at Disney, being the Disney character work for God, you see. And they're earning their wings and feathers back by doing their job as God tells them. So they're receiving other hidden, non visible information that we're not receiving. We're not receiving it. They're receiving another kind of thought that we do not receive. They receive what they should do every day and what time and where to be and everything. Like hearing from like a director in a movie, they hear a tape loop that you and we don't hear. You see, be here, say this, say that, and they're more like a robot. You see, they're not really like you think they're like a human, but they're really less like a human than you think. You know, because you're reaching the barriers, like we do with notaries and lawyers, reaching their barriers to have intelligent human conversation to explain their actions. You see, and so you've got behind the curtain, and you're like, "Yeah, dude, what you're doing makes no sense." And so they're acting loopy, loopy. You get it? Like they're in a time loop. They're acting loopy. Uh, they don't make no sense. They're crazy because they're in a time loop and they only have so much abilities based on their script and what they're told to do and stuff. And then you're past that. You're like, wait, you're not even. What am I talking to in there? Like what? Nothing. It's like you just get to the end of it. You're like, oh, so you're like a character. And they're like, yeah. Like, you get to the end of it, it's obvious, you see, what the situation is. And you've revealed it and you can't unreveal it. And then you're like to the next thing, and they're like, well, she knows we're faking this, so we'll just be pleasant or whatever, you know? So they don't have to go along with it because their goal is to show you that God is real. In other words, to see behind the curtain and to see their Disney characters, to see this is all fake. You see, and if you're like, man, just do what I'm saying, you're not getting what they're doing. What they're getting is they're supposed to do certain things, yeah, by follow along, make it easier until you increase your abilities on your end. Like, are you praying for them right in front of them, that they earn their feathers and wings? Are you praying for it out loud that they earn their feathers and wings, for their work? Thank you for, your service to God, and may you earn your feathers and wings, or you look them in the eye and like, look in here and see that I know what you are, and I know the game, and so we're good to go. You can let me pass you, and let me on to the next stage. What do you say? Like you have to do it some way or the other uh, to get them to move on. Like you want to do it the nice way, maybe we have to do it the not nice way. Because they can play any character. They can play not nice, right? Can you play not nice? Can you play a character that's not nice too? And like it's you have to get past um, thinking they're what you are. You see, they're here to help us do that, to show the difference. You see? All right. Let me see where I got with this. Allie, yeah. John Beer Baba said Maya is always working against him. Yes. Do you ever feel like the other perfect masters are in a way controlling Maya and a way working against you in order to push you for? Yeah, totally. Oh my God. Yes, that's their job. I mean, what a horrible job in a way. You know what I mean? Like, what a horrible job. What's to like about my job? I don't know what's to like about it other than, okay, I'm leaving. Okay, great. But as far as, it's being a perfect servant in a way, it's like, you know, what God asks of me to do and tell people and so on. It's hard, you know, to reveal. God bless me. Uh, to reveal information and the truth in a way that shatters an individual's reality, past reality, which is a fantasy. You see, you shatter their fantasy. You're not shattering their reality. You're shattering their fantasy so that they could come out of that shell of fantasy and pop. Oh, this is reality, So you have to smash that fantasy. And doing that is never a comfortable task, smashing. Let me break it. I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get you out of there. Break it in. I'm gonna get you out of there. It's like you're not breaking out. I'm breaking in to get you out. You see? And that's what it feels like, we're breaking in to the place that you don't want touched. Like me too. Oh, I managed to deal with this pain, or you know what I mean? Whatever we hide away, it's like, you know, that burr under our saddle when somebody's riding us, where God is riding us. We're like, oh, the thing we can become so constant, the pain that we don't even notice it anymore practically. That's what I'm here to remove, is to pull that tooth. And that don't feel good at all, to pull that tooth. But afterwards feels great. Uh, and so they're doing to me what I have to do to everyone else. It's like it's constant uh, situation, uh, of exactly what you very well described there, actually, Alan. Yeah. Uh, you know, but it feels like somebody else has a script to your life as stuff is happening, and you're sitting there saying, well, these are my actions, so I'll just control them. And uh, maybe I won't. Let's see, what do I use? Maybe I won't, you know, go to Africa. You know, I'm in charge up in here. I'm the running this ship. Screw them scripts and everything. And then a couple weeks later, you're like, man, I did not think I was going to be in Africa, and you're in Africa. And to say it in a nice way to you, sir, Alan, you follow me, with some perfect master stands next to you and says, hey, something's going to happen. And they read something off a script in front of you, too. Something's going to happen to you in Chennai, and then that something happens to you in short order, baby. You know, but you got free will. You can control everything. Oh, is that right? Is that right? Is that right? You see, this thing is it's a script, and we have to get fully engaged in it, see it's got us, and then decide how we're going to experience that journey. Like, okay, the roller coaster's going up, and then you're like, no, I'm not in a dude. I'm never getting in a roller coaster. No, you're actually in one. What? No, I'm not. It's like, well, you're on. It comes back around. So roller coaster's on a loop. It's gonna do this stuff, and then it's gonna come back around. It's like, what? No, I'm not even in a roller coaster. I'm like, I'm about to push the button, and you're gonna go, and then you come back here. Chuk. You're like, no, I'm not in a no roller coaster. Whoa, well, you get to the end. It's like, so this is a roller coaster, huh? I'm like, yeah, this is a roller coaster. I tried to tell you. Oh, if that helps, Alan. And also help push everyone else forward to God, those who will listen. Oh man, what a follow up, right? Yeah. Like, don't boom, 1-2 punch and a knockout. Yeah. Isn't that right? Man, this guy, huh? Spent some time with me in India. Boy, what a summation. It's like, this guy'd make a great attorney. It's like, okay, give me your closing argument. It's like, oh, do you want to even try over there on the attorney? It's like, nah, just I don't even want to go after Alan. No, that's really well said. Thank you, thank you. Uh, Jamie, this is the best reminder to pray for them. Oh, could we were them? We were playing the carnival. Oh, how else are you gonna make it to the top? Is God gonna play, fair and unfair? Like, oh, you don't have to be one of the fairies. You're just, that does happen, but that's the archangels. But then they don't have an opportunity to not be archangels. You see what I'm saying? So that's kind of a difficult experience for Gabriel. God gave him such a high office, but it's one that stays the same. What a those ones, like, when you think about it, the G, we can evolve through the gym phase, come out of that, they can all get there eventually in the end. but Gabriel never does. You see what I'm saying? So, uh, do you have that real view of reality? You see what I'm saying? Do you have the real view of the timeline the way they see it and the way God sees it and stuff? So, do you have it? It's hard until you have more interactions with them and more experiences the way you're doing, Jamie. That builds it up and so on. Uh, that's how it happens over time, and then you just become completely solid, and they don't even why have the waves of break against you when it's just easier because once you have the information, they don't have to constantly make your life a difficult journey because you already have the truth. In fact, they're like, don't push him too hard because he'll reveal more, or him or her. I'm speaking from my experience, you know. But yeah, yeah, we should be praying for them. May you earn your feathers and wings. You should be praying for them. That's what I'm saying on the spot. Beat them with a prayer. Like, oh, let me pray for you in the name of Jesus Christ. They're like, here you go. Get out of here. Oh, get out of here. You know, like that's what you want. They want their prayers, so you do it from your heart. They don't have a heart. You see, you're giving them the ability to move forward spiritually, and they know it, and you know it. And once you really know it, and you really do it from the heart, like you know that's what you're going to do for them, and they know that that's what you're doing for them because they know they can see parts of you that are hidden from you. They can see things and hear things and think things and see in us and inside us all our thoughts, feelings, everything. They can see all that. That's part of their vision, their ability, uh, because they need it to do their job. They can't be a Disney character without that ability. They're like, how's the game player doing? Okay, that's where they are. Okay, okay. Everybody has to know, or else how could they be a Disney character in the game? God, they would have to have that information to play this game and beat you and be so hidden in everything. They have to. They have to. They have to work together, and they're like, you know, when they describe AI, they're really describing the demons and their abilities. That's what the Tesla robot will learn one over here and it'll go to the super brain and they'll all know together at the same time. That's them. That's the way they are. That's what I think you're describing Jin. So your AI is Jin. Like you're describing them exactly. So that's them. So you see, could a Jin inhabit a robot? I mean, it could inhabit a pig and a human. That's in the Bible. So, you know, uh, them jinn get into stuffed animals and stuff like that, don't they? And into objects and so on. For magicians, they do. They do. They do. So how can the robots? Maybe it's just jinn. Maybe they don't have any movements or they don't have no brain, nothing like that. Uh, Nobody showed me some supercomputer reason why a computer could do things. I don't see any reason they could do it. I can see a reason why invisible human like, you know, entities could though, because they exist. You have to look at what's out there, what's going on. It is a roller coaster, Pam. Uh it is a roller coaster. Oh yeah. Oh, Pam is here, and that's right. Oh man, I can pay him and pull out and out. So I hope you like my yes metaphor. I think you get my good news comes in small packages. Sometimes reference to your own individual situation there, and the information I was able to give ahead of time of the situation and it occurring and everything. So. Uh, That loop is decided, you know, for everyone, and so what's our reaction gonna be? Hate the loop, whatever, or, "Oh my god, the guy some entity that's bigger than this, even indescribable, has to be doing this." God. It just shows that God is real. "Oh, God is real. Okay, wow." You know? Everything shows that, and that's the goal behind the game is just to push away the curtain, the whole Truman Show, and be like, "Okay, I guess I'm going through that door, and that's home, and that's God. That's what I'm saying. I'm not going to say I know of the day or anything like that. When you return to God, it's going to be indescribable and happy and individual one-on-one uh, interaction experience that you're going to have with God. I'm not going. Nothing I say is going to give from, take away from, nothing. Like that's gonna it's gonna be so extreme, it's not gonna even be describable. So that's what we're fighting for, is to get back home and be with God. Yes, I do. Thank you for that. So good. I remember that the heads up started. Like, what? Yeah, no, I know. So, but I love that some of my work is happy, wonderful work. Some of the script is really good news. I love that. But some of the script is difficult news. Seemingly, and some of it, you know, satisfies our wildest, uh, not wildest. I would say our wild meaning far outside the realm of a possibility to happen, like your wildest dreams, that kind of thing. Like past our wildest, like past what we thought is possible to happen because, all everything you say, well, that's not going to happen. So, and then, but it is the thing you most want to happen. Uh, and it happens. So that is a miracle, period. So, it was a miracle that was scripted and you were given the script ahead of time. And it was a miracle for a few people, but individually, also for a family. So it's really important to have, that this is uh, experience. Like when you go on a pilgrimage, you have to experience the things that I'm saying are real or they're not real. You know what I'm saying? Like you go there, let me see if God is real, and let me see if this guy's connection to God is real, and let's see if the information is real. You go and you're like, okay, it's correct to test it and to experience it and see, is it right? Is it wrong? That's really important. It's really important. So I hope, uh that it's as it can never be as happy for me as it will be for you. That experience. So I'm glad you're having it in that way, and that the family is, because the family is supported by work. I've been true trying to do my best for God and for the people out there. And God recognized me by giving me the information that you recognize the information. Then you're like, oh, is that the guy? You know? And so you're forced to wrestle with that. It's a difficult wrestling match. Because as I say, like the perfect master's job is just like horrible. You know what I mean? Like it's a horrible job. It's the worst job ever. Just tell people what they don't want to hear, the truth, and like sort of smash their reality. But the thing is, the people that take to the truth, they're asking for it. In other words, they notice that something is there's something is awry in the whole situation here. What's causing? What's actually going on? So, and those that take to the truth, they were asking for. They've had enough experiences. They're like, no, I'm tired of that fantasy stuff. I just want the truth. So, wish you switch lanes and come fully over to the truth. It's really, you know, next stop, miracle number 3 or whatever. You know what I mean? You're like, but you don't hear the stops, but that's where you're headed. So you have to see that that's the journey that you're on, and then God's watching over me is the ultimate experience. The experience that doesn't stop is, oh, I'm one with God. God's watching over me. This is great. I want my whole family doing the same. Hey, everybody, you know, that's what you begin to ultimately experience, is that experience uh, where all this, supernatural being outside what the boundaries of what you thought is possible happen, and then you realize, well, the supernatural is actually real, and then the natural is actually not natural at all. God's running everything. and you have that experience, and then it goes on and on. It happens through your pilgrimage, and after, and then you're like, okay, you're cemented where you are, and you know everything about God is real, and everything else is, less of a focus, and God will take care of you. You do your best every day, but it doesn't have the same impact because God has been revealed. That's all. Having truth makes living in this game a little easier, kinda. That's we're back to that, what do they call it? Rapture anxiety. Am I leaving? Am I staying? Yeah. When's the day? Wait, is the leaving day ahead of time? Is it that whole thing? I mean, but that's the right kind of reaction to have instead of like, oh, that whole thing on TV is blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? They're getting us to react to things that aren't even happening. And so it's correct to have your emotions, your heart basically on God and what God's up to. That's the right place to put your heart. And so well, and just to respond to what you said, Pam, I'm just saying that like where you come to the truth and you see it and you're experiencing it and you don't have some, you know, mortal concern about God, like, you know, some real assessment that God is so far outside your boundaries of being able to fully understand uh, God and get a full, absolute every detail. I don't think I'm ever going to fully understand this God. Uh, it's like God has no boundary to God. So it's so God is boundaryless. You can't find any meets and bounds to put God into a neat little package that makes it never, you know, totally comfortable all the time. You're always like, wow, God is good because you see God for the power of God. You see that power side of God, like Satchit and Ananda, right? uh, you know, like like the power, you know, the existence, abilities, this time loop that that if that doesn't concern people and get you to at least that, I think fear God is you know, God wants everything from you. God wants all your fear. How can you fear a lion compared to God? I'm just saying, honestly, that lion's going to bite you. Once you see through the game, you realize this lion's a character. So you're like, Jesus Christ, and the lion's like, whoop. And you're like, yeah, you know. So so the lion's not, you're not mortally afraid of a lion anymore. But you're like, God has the power of mortality, life and death. So you're mortally, you know, loved, afraid of, concerned about, past all ability to take in God. I think that is a really great way to say it, Pam, Pamela. Thank you. Yeah, it's just a lot, to take in, and ultimately, you begin to sleep better at night at times when you're not wrestling with that. When it's like, wow, somehow God is real and is totally watching over me and the other members of my family. And wait, everyone, even the cast members that are out there, they played their role for the day, and where did they go? And they'll be back tomorrow, and that's a lot, because Disney's just this little place in Florida by comparison. So God is doing the whole thing like this. And wait, it's just far past our abilities to take it all in. Way past, no boundaries to God. So once we see it like that, I think that's a normal reaction, Pam. Yeah, thank you. And that's why I come to getting kind of the church idea, and getting it interacting with people. If that would be possible, then I would be able to film it and be able to stick a microphone under people and let them speak and have their own reaction, and so on. this is what happened to me, and okay, thanks for your testimony, and then this, I think that that would be great for this happened this week. I just wanted to share, because I was thinking having a a regular time to get together with people like noon on Sunday. Uh, Church service, that's what they call it, church service, right? That's what they call it, service. I'd be serving people. Uh, I think that it would kind of go like this: do a reading. Uh, I'll share my thoughts like this, so you share your thoughts, people there, and then we get into so what's you know the congregation, the people there who have congregated, the gathered ones. That's the congregation. The ones who have gathered that day. Whoever needs a prayer for them, the ones who gather will pray for them right then, and I will pray for them in the name of Jesus Christ. Whoever to deliver. If you look at the word deliverance, right? Uh, we would pray for them. Uh, and let God take care of the rest. Um, Now, deliverance is an interesting word, right? Devil is in the beginning of the word deliverance, and it's used for when a baby comes through a woman, right? And when a demon comes out of a human form, right? That's like their deliverance. They're being born back into their world. And they're not in this world, in this body. They're being born out of the body, right? Coming out. So I'd be there for delivery. Come on, let's get you born. Here we go. In the name of Jesus Christ, here's another gin. Off you go. Uh, but honestly, and then afterwards, right? I think it would be good to have a repast. Right? Like recycle, happening again. Past, right? The past. Repast is the past repeating itself. Repast is what we'd have after it, right? We'd have some food and be like, I may have a smoke or a drink or none of those things, or, I'm kidding, but like, what just happened in there? You know what I mean? Like, man, I gotta eat something. I'm gonna go home and take a nap, or I'm gonna go to the beach after this or something, like just some time afterwards to like come down a little bit and hang out with your gathered was who from your community, and so you can chill out and hang out a little bit and come down from everything we just went through, and uh you know try to get duck Sunday and make some plans for during the week. Whatever, what do we do during the week? Are we still doing that thing on Tuesday, or we still do it, and sort of let it organically shape itself like that, from the wisdom of the people gathered. Uh, that's what I think would be good. We'll see what God decides. I just feel like with my abilities and knowledge to not even put it out there that I'd be willing to take a church and fulfill that role, because no one else is really doing it. Let's be real, right? That's them over there, uh, doing that almost 100% of the time. I've never seen any human doing it properly. Not face to face. I never met them. All kind of preachers and Christians come to Siesta Key and other, to come this where I go to the drum store. They all come down there to, you know, do all the things in Jesus' name. Nothing happens. So, and most of the time when I do it, whenever I've delivered anybody, honestly, uh, they never had any intention of getting rid of that demon. And it jumps right back in them, and they're solid as a rock with the devil. I never actually have fully delivered anyone from a demon forever. Like, they all just come to me to run some game down on me, and I'm like, "Well, I expose you, and there's a demon." And they're like, "Okay, let's run." And they get out and like, "Whew, my demon's safe back inside me," which is fine. Go do that if you want. I don't want you around. So, but I feel like I'd give an opportunity for it to happen if somebody wanted it to happen, but I don't know if that's if like and for healing, like for deliverance from that getting into your thoughts and running your life and healing. That's what I do before the repast. Repast also means eating, so I think that's why I wanted to call it that. The repast. We talk about the time loop and have a bite, and then y'all go home and have a nice week, and we'll do what we do. You're working on a church concept, but it's a monastery. Uh huh. I think that is a possible key. Yeah, I don't wanna be a monastery kinda type of place exclusively anyway, I don't mind to have if something like that showed up, but I really want the ability of people to come and go, to show up, because I think if there's no closed door policy of any kind, uh the cameras will get a whole lot more, and I'll show a whole lot more truth, And that's what uh I like. Yeah, I'm gonna get some people that can help there for sure. But I'm like, let me get some video of the devil trying to sneak in, and catch him, uh, and get him out of here. That's what really, because that's the unseen part, you know. And so my role is to expose what can't be seen, and so I want to expose what hasn't been seen. That's the main thing for me to do. Did that lady lose her house? Yeah, yeah. She never signed the trust. She still has it, and she still has it. I gave her the whole package for free and everything. I said, if you try this and do this, I'm trying to work out a deal with the homeless. And I said, if you do it, if you try it, if you put this up on your house, I'll give you all the trust, all the courses, everything for free. You sign the trust and so on. She's like, really? Okay. Because she's having money trouble, obviously. So I was like, this will help you. Uh, so she put it up on her door, and I didn't wait for the cops to come. I was like, okay, you did it. Thanks. Keep it up. She's like, I'll keep it up. So I gave her all the information. But she never signed the trust. So she just went under this piece of paper that I was trying to do uh, like a shorter process for someone that's homeless, and can't sign a trust, but God didn't honor it because it would be sort of dishonoring what I've done and what you've done. You signed the trust, you did that. So now there's a shorter process. What? Yeah. I found the process. That's the process. That's it. So I wasn't able to get around. I was just trying to whittle it down to easier for everyone. And it is. It has been whittled down, apparently, and I have to accept that. And then I have to use what God has given me as best as possible. So that I kept saying every time I see her, you got to sign the trust. You got to sign the trust. You got to sign the trust. But I can't sign it for her. So that's what I'm saying. Like, they seem to have roles that they are going to perform, but they never come in all the way over to God. They're in this spot and they can't advance. And so that's where they are. It's like, okay. But the more information that I get publicly, a video, and just make it, the service public, people congregate, and the whole thing is on video and everything, then it'll be much easier for people to draw their own conclusions. I don't have to sit here and be talking about this, that, or the other thing. It'll all just be, we get all this video of everything and say, Jack's not talking anymore. Thank God. And you talk about yourselves and, uh, you know, find out for yourself and see for yourself. Come and experience it yourself. Isn't the rest of life kind of mostly boring in a way? Uh, Wouldn't you like to see me on a real live stage doing this weekly? Like, could you even imagine what that would be like? I don't even think that people could sort of imagine. You know who could imagine? Someone. There's one dude in here that can a little bit. Alan. He's hung out with me 24/7 for a long enough time to be like, his question has started to go away, and I want to tell you that what Alan wrote today was far from being a question. It was instead super polite, summation, correct summation of our situation here, as he appropriately described, and that's from his experiences, and I could agree more with what he said. And so that's what I think that I learned on this pilgrimage is it's really difficult to be around me because I get information for each individual, and I kind of push that button, that needle into that point to do the acupuncture, and it hurts, and then afterwards they come out healed, uh, but it's not comfortable, convenient at the moment. But it's like, no, this is easy. We're delivery is just takes a hold on, so, it's not easy, but I think seeing it, in a way like that would help people quite a bit, is what I think. So, uh, yeah. Let's see what Jay's written down here. That's a good question about that. Thanks, Jay. The fake churches have all welcome. That won't be the case for us. Well, it will be all welcome, but what's going to be exposed when anyone walks through the door? You see what I'm saying? They start shaking and shuddering around me. If they're coming to do something, they're quickly exposed. I expose them, or I just say who they are. I just touch their hand and I say what's going on. That's the kind of stuff I'd like to get on video where I know before they speak what they're going to speak about and stuff like that. Like that type of prophecy, I'm not doing that right now, but I've done it to people face to face. But some things that God has revealed to me or reveals to me in the moment, I think it'd be better to get some of that with interactions of people. Uh, so that's just I got to be somewhere, and so why not be in a location that's under God and could be 24/7 like me, but with a place I can sleep, I rest, and that church just like for real at it with the cameras and everything. I'm just saying, isn't the rest of life really boring by uh, comparison, really. So, what do you want to go down in? A boring 9 years, or you want to, like, hey, you want to show people? It's like, well, you know why I listen to this guy? Watch this. watch, watch tape number 3 here. The video that one always gets me. Chink. You know what I'm saying? That's why, and to show the difference between everyone else who's got church and doing all this stuff and myself and a reality. You see, it show the stark contrast between the two. Uh, I think that would be useful for many people, and that's why I thought of that. So, anyway, Jay, I went back to the original Dave J guy on YouTube to give him the info, and he pretty much endorsed me. Yeah. I'm jealous. He got to hang with Jack. uh, Dave J. I don't know if I know Dave J. Dave. I think that was a guy from the podcast, right? Maybe. Oh, yes. Yes, it would be amazing to see that. That's what I'm saying. People from all over would be speechless. That's this is a guy that was with me for a couple months and come with a lot of questions, and what I tried to say, maybe I'll try to say it again because it didn't come through loud and clear. I tried to say he sat down with me and had time with me and all this stuff, and then he had a lot of questions. We went through it, and then the world around us started to show it to him. You see what I'm saying? Over time, and the weeks and a couple months went by, and then way less questions and more like, oh, that's that, right? It's like, yeah, that's that, right? Like it was just a completely instead of hey, what's going on over there? It's like, oh, there's look. I'm like, yep. So to see it, you see, That's the difference. Once you see it and nothing's hidden, then the whole system of, hey, we have knowledge and see stuff you can't see. Once that ability is removed, then well, aren't we playing a really super level fair game? And really, aren't the choices easy at that point? Like, why would you choose to be on that team? Oh, you're one of them. Oh, okay. So we really just be dividing up who's who. That's all, you know? And wouldn't that be easier for everyone when we divide it up? Okay, you're human, give me a hug over there, human. Like it's like, oh yeah, okay, you're not gonna try and freak me out. Great. That'll be a change. Would it be great to hang out with people? It'll be just people and anyone else will be exposed by God. You're like, what an experience. And it's kind of like there's a really that's a quality right there that you can't say what it is. That everyone went on that pilgrimage misses everyone on that pilgrimage as being on that pilgrimage. Not like they don't love their life or their family or nothing like that. But it's a gathering together where you don't have that concern. You know what I mean? Like, uh, I'm gonna watch over you and watch this. Look who's coming over on the edge, and there they go. Okay, you know, like I'll just point out everything. Uh, and nobody gets tripped up in my presence. So uh, I think holding that ground solid and steady like that will make it so when people see it or come to it or whatever, makes it so they can hold their ground solid and steady for a week themselves, or then speak about it. Hey, I beat this on this week, and like that, not just me talking. No, reading, hey, this, and then okay, hey, what happened? Instead of typing it here, it'd be like, oh, Jay, let's hear from you, man. Okay. And Jay says what he has to say. It's like, yeah, that's exactly it, isn't it? That somebody else has something to say, like that. Not like church, like it's like, yeah, I'm the one that won the game first, but hey, aren't we all playing it? Yes, we're all playing it. So I'm not like lording over you or nothing like that. No, it's just like I have other information. And it's like, okay, well, let's get up to speed, everybody. Try to get everybody up to speed on all the info, and then we can really help each other and practice that every week, helping each other through this process. Travel and do seminars. Man, traveling is rough on me, dude. Like the stuff I have to go through, I don't think people understand. That's why I was like a parsonage and a church. My health would stay, and in Florida, I could do it every week, and I could do it. Other places, I don't, I don't know how useful I'd be, to be honest with you. That's all I'm trying to say. The cold gets to me bad. I just can't function as well. Uh, but good question, Reagan. Uh, maybe in the end, but I think the travel will be for others and to do maybe like a pilgrimage to come here, and that will give them the opportunity to have a pilgrimage, right? And not just to be with me. Oh, wow, this church does this. Oh, look, these people signed the trust. To interact with the people who congregate too. That's all. But there could be an outreach arm, Reagan, that I'm sure would respond well to um, someone with a big heart and a happy smile and a lot of truth. If someone wanted to do some outreach, if you could think of anybody. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I say people who congregate maybe have a different idea. Hey, we could do this, we could do that. Hey, like around here, like down in Nokomis, there's a big street. And sometimes churches just walk through the like super busy intersection in the middle, like with a bucket, like blah 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 church, and just take donations that way. Uh, like, oh, I'll do donation, whatever. Oh, I'll do outreach. Let me. People could do different things. Let's plan an event where we're going to do blah blah blah. Okay, great. If you plan it, I'll be coming. Like uh, Alan. I'm like, I will go to India, but not that great at all the plans and everything like that, every detail. Won't be as in the moment. It'll affect me worse. But if you can make the plans, I can be more in the moment and be there. And he done it. So if people could, you know, kick in like that, great. Uh, then I'll, because to continue to try and move forward and find a place and so on. So see what happens. Uh, but I don't know. Like if I want to, you know, see the Black Rock, if I want to see the tower, like the leaning tower of Black Rock, if I want to see that sucker go, like don't knock over the tower. Wait, the devil has to, you know, I want to knock down the dark tower. Anyway, if I want to say honestly though, if I want to save people before the time is up, you see what I'm saying? Like, how am I going to do that? Like, I have had an effect, and I have had an effect on you individuals, so that's why I took it a step further. I'm like, I could do a pilgrimage. I wonder if it'll how much it'll hurt me, how much I'll have to pay. It paid a lot, but I made it and I lived through it. And then I was like, okay, maybe I could hold down a space and a place, and just do that. Yeah, it seems like that's the way the script is supposed to be. Like Alan says, you're supposed to do God here. More people will come if you have this building and people regular time. We can come down and see it from the neighborhood and what. Okay, that's the way they do it. That's the script. I didn't make this friggin' script. Nobody gave me a charge. Ah. But anyway, while I'm in this rental here, my goal is to explore the different possibilities to be most useful wherever I can be most useful with my time and energy, where I find myself under the dome until Judgment Day. And I was thinking, well, that might be the best way. So I'll just shoot for the best way to start with and then, come down from there. I don't know. That's just you're supposed to do your best. So it's like, what would the best way be? I'm in Florida somewhere. I need to be semi near the beach or warm, I need to have a church building that some people congregate in to do this, point some cameras, and well, here we go. And I need a place to lay my head on the same property in case somebody shows up and needs help, whatever. I also need some downtime, like I don't know. And then that would prove, hey, you know, the whole thing works on the tax exemption thing and a church, the whole thing. Like it would line up with everything, all the work I do. And the work I do, and that would go towards getting the church and everything, all the work I do, because my home would be there and all that. So, you know, keeping us fed and alive and electricity and stuff with this work and Liberty Aid Academy and like that. And I don't know, work on getting the rest. That's the initial thought I'm having. I've had this for a while. Actually, my wife brought it up. She's like, "You should have a church." Now she's finally like, "Okay, you can have a building where I can live there too, but I'm not. I don't want to. Not just a church, and we're not going to be there in just a church. Has to be another building." Too. I'm like, "Okay, okay, okay. Yes, yes, yes." Otherwise, I find myself in the human condition in a human body in this game, and I'm just being real. Like, how can I do it in an ongoing way and make it so I can actually do it? That's that's the way they do it. So I'll start from the top down and work on that and talk to a realtor and give everyone the feedback and all that kind of stuff and just sort of go forward and keep it like that and see what we learn from the process. Okay. Maybe I'll end up out in the air with the dome as my building, but at least I'll go through this because I'm here renting. I'd rather be in some physical location where, oh, that's he's over there. They're all driving by. That's him. Like keep your distance. Yeah, or opposite. That's a place. We're going there Sunday tomorrow. That's where we're going. Okay, a place to go. A place. This is a turf war after all. There's no one spot for sanctuary that I am aware of. Certainly not the Baba Center. Certainly, where is the sanctuary? Can someone tell me? So how is that not something to work on and achieve? And get video of. Ain't nobody can touch me or chain me. And so you would, I'm sure that with stuff I'll say and do on that property, I'm sure they'll be by at some point to give it a go, and we'll be able to see it on video. You know, like that. So, oh, Jay's got a passport. Congratulations. Could do some traveling. Uh, that would be really great. I think so, Jamie. If I don't put it out there, they God don't hear me. And don't hear like, isn't that the script? You're supposed to have this church and be there for people. Isn't that what we're here? And ultimately, for me, I have Christ consciousness, so that's how I know God so well. I'm a lot like them characters that God writes about. For me, I just stop. I don't even care if you're talking to me. If I see a child over there needs help, it's like we weren't even talking. So for me, set it up for that the children have a place to not be uh, messed with while they're there. Would be, and they can hear the truth uh, and have that as a choice. And then the adults too, who bring them. Uh, I would like to focus on that quite a bit too. Because what do you do with your children? And there are some people that know the truth that have some time and can watch children and so on. So, it'd be nice. I'm not just like, hey, adults need a place to, be safe, need a sanctuary. So do children. Uh, you've pondered the concept of seizing a abandoned Catholic church. Oh, so yeah, right. That's an interesting thought. I didn't know there were any. That is an interesting thought. So we'll have this convo over the weeks to come. Um, let me see if I have anything else here before. Oh my goodness, it's 1:30. Uh, I had a great. I want to finish this up by saying I had a great uh, message from someone that their child wanted a copy of God Speaks, and so I sent a box of books, two copies of God Speaks, an older one and a newer one, and some other books to this young individual that wanted to read this. So I just feel like that was such a breakthrough, and kind of made me realize, there really isn't anywhere for children to be, like a physical place for them to be. Where would they be? Where would they go? Where do they go to get christened? Where do they go to get baptized? What do you do? Like, and sending those books out so that it can affect their life. Uh, I have to say this because I got this message and I sent these books. And it's what they typed about the message that he's that the this young person said. And they said nobody everybody seems upset with the man in the computer. Everyone seems upset with the man in the computer. And then I realized, that's all I am, is a man in a computer to most people. To Alan, I'm not, and his life changed. He's not even able to recognize his life from like today and before. You know what I mean? And in a good way, like all his dreams come true, and that's true. Uh, and others that come on that pilgrimage. I hung out with him for a long time. I I, I have a little more. Uh, we're friends too. compatriots working on the same team. And so I have a little leeway there with my friend to speak about him a little bit, and his journey and mine is similar. So how am I not gonna want to do my best? Is all I'm saying. Like I have the truth. I'm just rattled now. I'm like, what would be the best thing I could do? Is let go of some things and let go of this rental. To me, it'd be great to have a church and really affect people. Like, I mean, the things that people would see, it would change a lot of viewpoints, I think. So keep you posted on that. Did this happen where you were a kid? The nuns were crossing guards to watch children cross the streets today. Um, it did not happen. And I went to a Catholic grade school with nuns, but it was more like they were driving and dropping off, and it was next door. Physically, the land was next door to a junior high school, and I used to take the bus to the junior high school. Uh, Wearing a tie, a plaid tie, white shirt, blue pants, black shoes, you know, a uniform every day, and get ridden by the kids in public school, and then get over there. But there weren't really any kind of like crossings there that were covered by the public school. So the nuns didn't have to get out there because like they were crossing and they had someone in the public school doing it. So it was funny that way. But good question. I didn't see that when I was with the nuns, but maybe you did. All right, everyone. That's what I had on my mind to share. And to the young individual that I sent those books to, I want everyone to say a prayer for them, please. That they, take the message of God and continue with it, and God comes into their life. So let's pray for them and this young individual that is going to receive God Speaks and some other Mary Mama books and information. And I also sent a piece of candy prasad from the tube in India to this individual. So let's say a prayer that God takes this individual all the way in his lifetime. If someone's, you know, at this age, young individual wants to read this, has always been about God, let's pray for him that God takes him home, eh? All right. Jesus Christ, Bear Baba. Okay. Nuns and dot coms. That's funny. Uh, Alan, thank you. Super helpful. God bless you, John, and the young ones who reached out to you. Yes. J Bear Baba. Praise Jesus Christ. Thank you, Alan. Wise man. And thank you, everyone, for your prayers for that young man. And I'll keep you posted. I'll see you next Sunday. Everyone, have a great week. Thank you for the donations. I can't continue without it. In fact, let's expand. Eh? No, it wasn't that it was super thoughtful, Jay. It was just, you know what? That's what I want to do. And how come I can't do this 7 days a week out of a church? That's what it brought me to. Not that, oh, I'm so good. No, it was like, why can't I? Why do we have all these books here? And I just said it, like I was like, I'm not affecting enough people is my problem. Is the way it made me feel. So just made me want to do better. All right. All right. God bless you, everyone. Name of Mayor Baba, Jesus Christ. And a messenger, watch over you. Holy Ghost, the Holy Spirit, Gabriel the angel. Okay. Have a wonderful week, everyone.